Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we went back and forth with the stakeholders, we were striking through some of the new language on line 20. We inadvertently struck through some of the language that is already in existing code. So if it's the pleasure of the committee, I'd love for someone to move a minor amendment on line 20 to unstrike by audio or visual means, or just reinsert the language. Basically, lines 19 through 22 should be restored to their original form. And I've worked with
Mago, is it in, can you report how it should read?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It would be on line 20 after meeting, you would reinsert by audio or visual means.
Properly moved and seconded that amendment be agreed to. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now, tell us what your bill does.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill directly amends Virginia Code of Statement of Lot Owner Rights. As the code is currently written, lot owners have a right to cast their vote, but there is no provision that states that they shall be informed of the outcome. And although it seems to be a given that as a voting member you would be privy to the tally and outcome, usually the outcome is the only thing reported. Problems could arise when there is an election and a very close vote count. A homeowner that cast a ballot in the election should have the right to be informed of the vote count. So if Jill and Frank were running against each other in an HOA board, for an HOA board position, and Jill lost, all homeowners should have the right to know how much Frank won by. Maybe Frank got 300 votes and Jill got 299. Either way, the process should be transparent and clear, and there should be a recorded vote count and outcome conveyed. So this code only adds to line 19, that they're being informed of the vote count. So I hope to answer any questions. The CAI, they do support the bill, and we work together on it, and I appreciate your time. They're here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Senator DeSteff?
Mr. Chairman, you know, I'm trying to digest this, and I was working with one of her other senators on this who had some concerns. I've not had a chance to, I didn't know that we were going to have this amendment. I haven't had a chance to get back with him on this. So at this point, I'd like to take this by for the day so I can address this with him.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on. Did you complete your remarks?
I'd like to take this by and discuss this further with him. My original concern was this, is we eliminated the right of the lot owner to record the proceedings, and I thought that was bad policy. Now that we're reinserting all of that language, I believe we're reinserting all that language. Is that correct?
We're just restoring it to its original form. So the way the code is written currently, line 19 through 20 wouldn't change. They would stay exactly the same. So there is no change or amendment to that we've made. This bill only affects line 19.
Or 21, correct? Are we reinserting line 21?
We are, that was an amendment we had. I'm sorry. Am I supposed to?
Megan.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank
I'm
you,
just trying
Mr.
to make
Chairman.
sure
I apologize.
understand exactly what we're doing.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. What the amendment does is from line 19 through on line 20 after meeting. It's the only change that's being made is from the word meetings to meeting. By reinserting by audio or visual means, you're returning the language to the way that it currently reads in the code.
So will this or will not, Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Continue.
Back to you, amigo. Again, I'm trying to better understand this. Will this or will this not allow them to record the meeting and share those recordings with those who are out of the country, unable to attend, or in a form that they cannot attend? So if they're in the hospital or if they're bedridden or something like that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, that language was not reinserted, and that begins after the stricken visual means on line 20.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if that's the case, if we're not putting that back in, my concern with this is we're eliminating the right of a lot owner to record the proceedings and then share that with those who cannot be there. And again, in Virginia Beach, in my community, we have a lot of military members. And 3 of the condo associations that I'm familiar with, a majority of the owners are military. And they record the meetings and they share them, the secretary shares them with the military members who are deployed so they can get back to them on whether they support something or not. We also have one where a lot of folks are elderly, and I really think it's bad policy if we're not going to allow that. And again, these were my original concerns, but with one of our other senators, he had some concerns with this as well. But my concern is we are disenfranchising individuals who are deployed. We're taking an ability to provide these meetings and the minutes of these meetings so those who can't get there because they're elderly or they're bedridden, and we're now taking that away from them. And, you know, with that, I certainly can't support that. If we're not reinserting that section, then I'm going to move that we PBI this, because I don't think this is good policy to discriminate against our military or discriminate those who are aging.
Mr. Chair.
I recognized Senator McPike, or is it, who? Are you yielding? Okay.
All right. Mr. Chair, if I'm reading and understanding what you're saying, right now, people are able to share the proceedings. They can make the recording, and obviously there's no prohibition anywhere to on sharing it with anybody. The language that to share is not in the current code. And so therefore, by going back to the current code, we are not imposing any restriction on sharing, if I'm reading this correctly. So that anybody, right now people share and they can continue to share without that language being in there. And it does provide an explicit right to be able to record, so that is covered there. So I think the concerns that Junior Senator from Virginia Beach had, I think are that the bill does, in its current form, does not present problems which he was concerned about. So I think we're actually in pretty good shape.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes.
I agree with Senator DeSteff that I think it's important and vital to share the videos. My husband works a night shift, and he isn't able to attend our HOA board meetings. And the sharing issue comes up often with HOAs and in my community, and being in real estate, it comes up in general in any house we sell. And I agree that it should explicitly be in there. That was my attempt in the beginning. And working with stakeholders and realizing that we needed to come back and look at this language later, along with 6 other HOA bills I had, and look at them holistically, we decided to table that idea and work on it later in the summertime and come back next year with it. But I agree 100% we should be able to share with people who cannot attend the meetings. It isn't explicitly there, and that's what I was attempting to do, and instead we made it easier.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Reeves.
So, amigo, so the italicized to share the recordings of such meeting with other lot was something she was trying to accomplish. We've now struck that back out. What's been restored is by audio or visual means. Is that correct? Correct. Okay, so by restoring the original language, does anything prevent somebody from sharing those?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is nothing that I'm aware of that's in the Property Owners Association Act that would prevent sharing. Of course, if there are individual bylaws that may, for an individual development that may provide for that, I'm not aware of, but there's nothing in the Property Owners Association.
As part of their, Mr. Chairman, as part of their covenants or bylaws of the organization could prevent them from sharing. Is that what you're saying?
I think so, Mr. Senator Reeves.
Okay.
Complete your question. Senator DeSteff.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take this by so I can actually sit down and go through this section of the code one more time. There's some concerns on this still, and I want to make sure we're not doing something that we don't realize what we're doing. So I'd like to take this by, please.
Excuse me? So you're withdrawing the other motion and?
I'll withdraw the other motion, and my motion will be to take it by for the day.
For the day. Okay. Is there a second?
So, Mr. Chairman, and so we meet again, what does that effectively do? I mean, if he's trying to kill the bill, then then make that motion. But if we can continue to work on it beyond today, I just want to make sure the committee is going to meet and we're going to have time if we take this by one more time to fully address it. The delegates sat here for 3.5 hours last week, so we essentially have taken this by for a week already.
Well, my goal was to try to get everything wrapped up today. We have the room for next Monday, and so we can certainly have another meeting.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would say let's make a good faith effort here to work on this, look at the code, make sure it satisfies the gentleman's requirements. I believe the delegate did go sit down with the senator in question in the last week, correct?
I did speak
Thank
with
you.
my senator,
And
yes.
so if we could keep this moving and several of us commit to working on it, iron out any legitimate details that we have, so that we don't just take it by and bury it in committee, I would move to report in that situation.
That would be a substitute
I
motion.
would substitute that motion.
Properly moved that that the bill be reported, and that's properly seconded. Any more conversation?
Mr. Chair,
Senator Barker.
I would just note that if we do report this bill out, that certainly gives people a few days before we would get the third reading to be able to come up with any changes or floor amendments that they want to make at that time. So I think it allows us to keep things moving forward, but also allows time for reflection and anyone who wants to propose an amendment on the floor then.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Reeves.
I would concur with my colleague, Senator Barker, to Senator or Delegate Fowler, that your bill might have a little fever, and you need to probably get with my colleague to my left to try to figure it out before floor amendments start coming up. So, Mr. Chairman, I would renew the motion that Senator Mason made to report.
Okay. Any more conversation? Is anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1041? All right. You've heard the motion. All in favor, record your votes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ayes 14, noes 1.
Okay. All right. Delegate Aird, welcome.